Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me today. And I just want to show you a painting that I started the other day actually. So most of the paintings that I show you on the channel are complete. I know a lot of people want to actually see me painting, which I don't actually like doing, to be honest, being filmed. So this is probably the nearest that we're going to get. So I got this canvas a couple of weeks ago actually. Somebody very kindly gifted me this canvas to start painting on. As you can see, it's a nice kind of a box canvas, nice and strong. So I did basically, there wasn't any kind of plan with this one. I just kind of did it, not say freehand, but got the ruler out and a couple of other bits and bobs and started drawing around it. Hopefully you'll be able to pick up some of the lines on that there, but I will put a still of it up so you can have a good look. Now initially I did plan to, I bought some paints because I wanted to make this kind of quite a bright kind of canvas actually. So I generally speaking, I will use these kind of paints. These are Daler-Rowney System 3, which are kind of a good all-round paint, really, and usually do most things that I actually need. So I've got a selection of those colours, my usual colours, red, white, blue, yellow, and white. And that was the plan, to do that. So it's going to be quite a nice, bright painting. The way it's turned out is I'm probably going to do something quite unusual, actually. I like blue as a colour. I like red as well, but I like blue as a colour. And there's a particular blue that I like, actually. Now, the blue I really, really like is in this tube here. It's called Prussian Blue. And again, this is System 3. It's not a plug or anything, because I'm not well known enough to have that kind of wonderful thing to get paid to promote anything. But this is 150mm, I think, in this one, which is kind of a quite good sized tube, actually, if you want to have a go at something. They do a lot smaller, but they're quite small. But the Prussian Blue is really nice in that you can get some really nice effects with it. So if I just show the edges here, so that edge there, for example, that is Prussian Blue. And the thing I like about it is it gives you the scope to actually paint deep colour, so you can get really kind of deep blues there. But then if you dilute it quite a lot, you can go like to quite pale. So what I'll do on a lot of these pieces, like these side, for example, now on that, what I'll do is just to give you an idea of the method on that particular one, how to get that, I will actually, it sounds funny, but I'll kind of paint that particular shape, and I'll just paint the whole thing with water to start off with, just with clear water. I'll let the water sink into the canvas a little bit, so it's not sitting, it's not pooling on the top, but it is still nice and kind of moist. And then what I'll do, I'll actually mix up some, in this case, the Prussian Blue. Now I will mix it very in several different kind of concentrations, actually. So I'm looking for my palette here, which I haven't got, but I've got a very old one here. So what I'll do, generally speaking, I'll start off with a higher concentration, saying that one, and then I'll dilute as we go around. So I'll probably have 3 concentrations of the same colour. And the reason I'll do that is once I've actually overpainted with the water, I will actually use the very darkest one just to kind of introduce it onto the canvas and let it sort of dilute and run down the actual canvas. Because I paint flat, that's the effect you're going to get. I mean, most people would paint upright, but I'm not most people, so I tend to paint flat. So that's obviously the effect you're going to get. It's going to run down. But obviously after that, it started to run down. This is areas I think are not quite covered enough. Then I'll use the second dilution that is actually a bit more kind of watery, even the third one, which is watery still. So I'm applying different strengths to the dilution of the paint to actually kind of get this result as well. Sometimes I might actually put water on top as that's drying to get that to run. It really depends. No 2 times are ever the same. Like that side, for example, I've just kind of left that fairly plain, just let the kind of water do its own thing and just run down. Whereas on this bit here, you can see I've used a very concentrated dilution after it's kind of got going to give it some definition there, and a couple of places there, where you can kind of highlight some of that blue. Now, like I say, originally I wanted to do this lots of different colours, but the more I did it, and as you'll know, it's when I paint, it's a state of mind kind of thing. I started off with this very kind of bright blue, which I must call that almost like a baby blue. Now, this particular blue is called, I never even know how they used to say this actually, but I was watching an excerpt from The Devil, what is it? Devil Wears Prada, which I've never seen, but I just saw an excerpt on YouTube. And it happened to be the excerpt where it's talking about a colour of a jumper, and she's pulling this poor girl apart, saying what zero fashion sense she's got. And she described this jumper as cerulean blue. So I guess that's the way you say it. So if Meryl Streep said it that way, who knows? I guess that's the way you sell it. Say it, cerulean blue. And I really like this colour a lot. I didn't plan to kind of dilute it so much, but I wanted a colour, this sort of powdery baby blue, if you like. So again, I've diluted this, and I've diluted it with a bit of white as well, actually. So it's got paler as it's gone round, and it's got quite pale there. And then obviously then I did the Prussian blue. But the more I look at it, I think that I'm probably going to paint unusually the whole thing in blue. And I'm going to do that for a couple of reasons. I kind of want to do something slightly different. And also I think it depends on the state of mind. It hasn't been a very cheerful week, to be honest, this week. A few days ago, unfortunately, I lost my cat. So my poor cat, who was very elderly, you never used to see him, but he was always sat off camera, usually meowing or waiting to go outside the door at the most inopportune moment. But he was always by my side. So, and I think that's part of the reason I'm kind of steering away from really bright colours. I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I just think I want to paint this blue. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is paint the whole thing blue. So again, there'll be different shades of blue, different kind of interfaces, if you like. So we won't have two colours clashing the same, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. If I was clever, which I'm not, I might kind of mathematically work out which colours are going to be next to each other to make sure nothing clashes, but I don't really work like that. One of the other things that also happens when you do that kind of painting, and you're doing very wet painting, is obviously, because I paint flat, this is a nice little board, hopefully you can see it on the camera. It's just like, I got this in IKEA actually years ago. I forget what they call it. It's not a Party Susan, is it? And that's something completely different. It's one of those things like if you've got a buffet or something years ago, people put food on it and twirl it around or whatever. But it's great for painting, or really, really good. And I tend to paint sitting quite low, as you might notice. I'm sat on a chair. I mean, my kind of painting gear is, so that's why I'm a bit casual today. So I'm going to tackle this in a second. But what I do is, as you can see, this is going to kind of bleed, and that, I know the board's messy anyway, but what I'll actually do to sap up some of the paint is just put some tissue paper just down there to kind of take up some of that paint, so you don't kind of get like a blue ridge down the bottom, and do it like that. So that works quite well. These boards are really, really good, actually. They still do them in IKEA, actually, which is really handy. And they're quite well made. I've used them for many, many years now, and they work out really, really well. So yeah, kind of handy to have. And as for actually the shapes on it, I've used my 1970s Tupperware beaker here to draw around a couple of the shapes there. And I think I just had a small pot to draw around that. Ruler. This is, do you know what? This ruler has to be about, oh my God, it must be 30 years old. So it might even be older than that. Oh, it could be even 40 years older. I reckon that's 40 years old. A shatterproof ruler. This is my second shatterproof ruler. This is when they first come out in the shops, and yeah, it's lasted a test of time. Did have another shatterproof ruler, but it shattered. What a surprise. But there you go. So the kind of brushes I'll be using for this painting, this is probably the biggest brush I'll be using. This will be something like a number 7. And I'll probably be using that as just to do the wet part of this, and then the smaller parts where I actually want to put the fine detail in, I'll probably use like a rigger brush, which is something like this. Don't ask me the makes of these things, because when I pick my brushes, I usually just go along to the shop, pick up a couple of brushes, go through the whole thing really, just go by the feel of it, what kind of feels good. I do like the rigger brushes because I don't know if that's going to pick that up. They're really, really small. I mean, they're made for sign writing, but they're great if you've got an area like this. So, you know, you want to spread the paint, or you want to exaggerate a certain bit and just let it kind of dilute into the rest of the paint. They're really, really good. And the thing is, you do get these caps that you put on these brushes, which I absolutely hate, to be honest, because whenever you put them on, they're plastic cap to keep all the bristles in place. Whenever you put them on, you always catch a couple of bristles, and then your brush is gone kaput. So at the end of the painting session, when my brush is dry, I do this, and that just keeps everything nice and nice and together, and it just works for me. Don't do it with all the brushes, I just do it with a rigger usually. So anyway, so there we go. So this is a little painting that I've started to work on, and I'll continue working on it in the next couple of weeks. Don't know how long it's going to take. I don't really put time limits on a painting. There's no point really. It's something you're supposed to enjoy, so you just go with the flow and just kind of see how it evolves. So I'll pop a picture of this as it is in progress on the video, and I'll once it's complete, I'll do a video and you can have a little look at it. So we shall see how we go. I never know how the painting is going to turn out, so it's a sort of a suck it and see process really, and just see how it evolves over time. And the other interesting thing is, as most people will probably know, I always paint at night. So this is a very small room that I paint in. I paint under just an ordinary light bulb. So that might be one of the reasons most of my paintings are very kind of intense and bright, because I don't paint by daylight. And to be honest, I don't actually think it's that important really, to be fair, because what I do is abstract, and the important thing is for me it's the colour, to get the colour out there, to get that colour across to the viewer. So I think that's probably one of the reasons that my colours are pretty intense really. So yeah, so there we go. So yeah, so System 3 Daler-Rowney, made in the UK. I'm sure you can get these in other places around the world if you're in the States or Canada or anywhere else you happen to be watching. Nice solid paint really, reliable, and you know what you're going to get. So there we go. So thanks a lot for your time today. If you've enjoyed watching the video, give the old thumbs up, all that kind of stuff, and hopefully I'll be a bit cheery next week, and I shall see you soon. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care now. Bye bye.